stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part 2 of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Aggedor, that's Aggedor, on Mumblet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin. The smiles say it all. EU leaders agree. Boris Johnson's Brexit deal after Jean-Claude Juncker said there will be, get this, Jeff and listeners, no extension beyond October 31st if MPs reject it, leaving Remainer rebels backed into a corner. That's the headline, guys. Yeah, you like it just that. Now,
don't you like it? You like that a lot, Dave. Don't you like that a lot? I do.
Yes, it's very nice. It's very nice. And I'll just read you the bullet points here real quick, guys. Number 1, Boris Johnson and Jean-Claude Juncker dramatically announced that the UK and EU have agreed a new deal. And now we'll try and dig in and get you the details of that deal, by the way, guys. The next one, Brexit divorce agreement was then formally approved by European leaders this evening at a summit in Brussels. All right? Next one, but MPs, DUP partners condemned new package, saying the customs and consent plans are unacceptable. Next one, the proposals would see Northern Ireland legally stay in the UK but be practically aligned with EU customs union. So that's going to be a bit dodgy on one side and maybe not a bit dodgy on the other. That the jury may be out on that one for a while, but we'll see. The next one, the DUP have resisted massive pressure from the government to fall into line with the new arrangements. Well, we've known that practically since the start. The next one, Mr. Johnson will ask MPs to vote for deal at Super Saturday, sitting in the House of Commons this weekend. So, watch the news this Saturday, people.
And that's really historical. That in itself, a sitting on Saturday, is unknown in this modern day Parliament. So that's how important that it is for that day. That's the, if I'm right in my perception, Ockamay, 19th. And it's a 19th.
Yeah.
As I said to you a little while ago, it's 2 dates, the Queen's speech and the 19th. And that seems to be coming to pass, Dave. So that, as I say to the listeners out there, and our global listeners out there, this day, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you might be, it's going to be a very, very important day for all the aspects where Brexit's concerned, etc. As I'm saying again, this is unknown territory for a modern-day Parliament to sit for a special sitting, a hearing for that day. So there you go. That's why I say how important that day is. Yeah, Dave.
Oh, yeah, it bears talking about.
Every day is another day. It's just unbelievable, man.
Well, there's one more bullet point, Jeff, and then we'll go. Okay, the last one is, but without the DUP support, his path, we're talking about Bobo here, his path to securing a majority among MPs appears extremely difficult. But it doesn't matter. Okay, if the EU has already approved the deal, whatever it is, then the Ramoners in Parliament can go and pound sand. They can vote against this if they want to. But that's just, at this point, that's just going to be pro forma, man. So there's that one. Yeah, Jeff. And yeah, the 19th, guys, as Jeff said.
Now, things are now coming to conclusion. We're fed up. We've been waiting around for such a long time, but now it is coming close. A lot of people still feel a bit ominous about it, but you've got to have a positive look about it. Whatever will happen, you know, if it turns things down, I don't think it will. I really don't. I feel positive that we're going to leave. All this is the world's going to end. No, it's not going to end. The world will keep on turning. All these things that they said there'll be apocalypse, you know, when we leave. No, it won't. No, it won't. Things will go on like it did 40-odd years ago, except you and me will have our true sovereign rights back. No one should ever be allowed to take that away from us. We love our freedom, we love our democracy, and we love our sovereignty. No one, whoever they are, should ever be allowed to take that away from myself and you, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. That's me.
Yeah.
Just
Jeff, I'm going to look for another Brexit headline here, and there are plenty of them. I have a feeling I know who this call is. If you want to take this call, it's your choice, man.
Isn't it that? We've got two callers, actually. Bear with me, but this gentleman or lady's been hanging on for a little time. So we're going to take this first caller. You are live on the English Defence League radio show. Go ahead. And what is your question?
Are you there, gentlemen?
Yeah, we certainly are, Michael. This is Pastor Michael, actually, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, my dear friend, and I hope you're well. So, what did you want to say? I mean, we've been talking about the Queen's speech. I find it fascinating, actually.
Yeah, I didn't happen to catch it. I normally don't have time on Thursdays to hear your program, but I did get a chance to tune in for a few minutes, and it's an interesting program you have. And
thank you, Michael.
Yeah, no problem. I just, not to get off topic, but just for a minute, there's been a few new developments.
As you do.
160 Republican Congress people, 160 of them voted to condemn Trump's betrayal of the Kurds. So it's not a partisan issue. It's become bipartisan, and 160 Republicans voted yesterday to condemn Trump's actions with Syria and Turkey. That's it, Jim. No, I don't want to take it. I know you guys have
fair points, Michael.
All right. Yep.
Yes, I don't think many of us was very happy of what we've seen unfold. But only time now we'll see how things pan out over the next week or so. Michael, as usual, thank you for coming onto the show with some fine points as you always make. But we have got another call. Michael, as usual, it's always lovely for you to call in. We do really appreciate it. Okay, sure. Michael, God bless you. All the great works that you do out there, and pray you continue with all that you do, brother, okay? So, once again, Michael, thank you for your call.
Later, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, brother.
Speak to you soon. Dave, we have got another call there waiting. Have we, Dave? Is that the...
I believe so, yeah.
Am I correct? So this is the other caller, yeah?
I think so.
Okay, Dave. Right.
I think so, Jeff.
Right, here we go. Just bear with me. Okay. Welcome to the English Defence League radio show. Your point, and nice to have you here on the show, in the studio with us. Go ahead. What's your question, please?
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me on. Another one of your friends from across the pond. I actually do have to disagree with the caller.
Is that Brian?
This is Brian. Hey, guys. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Brian. What's
how
up,
you
man?
doing, buddy?
Well, I didn't
again, my friend.
I'm doing great. I didn't actually intend to talk about Syria, but I actually have to disagree with pretty much everything the caller just said on Syria and the Kurds. And if you'd give me a minute, I'll give you my position. And I think it's actually brilliant strategy on Trump, and there's a complete mischaracterization of what he's doing in Syria and the situation in Syria. Number one, the idea that the Kurds do all the heavy lifting, and they're these great allies, and that without which, Syria would have fallen. I don't necessarily agree with that, because the funding for their arms and all the weapons they have came from the United States. They were losing in northern Syria until Trump came into office, and instead of backing ISIS, he worked to defeat the caliphate, which he did successfully. It's their land. I mean, it's not as if the Kurds came from another country into Syria to help us fight. I mean, it's their land. They have a faction in Syria, the PKK, which they're terrorists and they're communists. And the objective was to defeat ISIS. The objective was not to get involved in some kind of sectarian war that involved the Kurds and the Turks, a sectarian war that's been going on for thousands of years. And, I had a strong disagreement with that. And whether or not our troops were there, Erdogan was going to do something about invading northern Syria. But since we left, the impossible happened, which is Assad and the Kurds were forced to try to work out their differences and ally together, which never would have happened if we were there. Plus, every faction in Syria, Assad, the Kurds, the Russians, the Iranians, they all have a major problem with ISIS, and they have a major problem with Turkey. And if Turkey breaks the ceasefire, we can absolutely crush their economy with sanctions. So I like the move. And the three reasons Trump got elected were borders, these horrible trade deals that ship our jobs and wealth and culture overseas, like we saw last week with China, and to get out of these endless wars which bankrupt our country. Because if we go bankrupt, then we're not going to be able to help anybody. So I just have a strong disagreement with the characterization that's any kind of a betrayal. And I would say that the people in Congress, are the problem, because it's trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's my position.
Well, I think you make good, valid points there. I've got to, with what Pastor Michael was saying, I could see his points, but also I can see, yes, your points are very valid points, and as the old saying is, agree to disagree on certain issues. But you both, Brian, as I say, it's always lovely to hear your voice. It's always lovely to hear your logic about things. The same with Pastor Michael. Views might vary, but it's good to talk about the serious issues out there, isn't it, brother?
It's great. Well, I did want to add a comment on Brexit, too, if I may.
Go ahead. That is our main topic right now. Yeah.
It's getting close, man.
That is where we're at, yeah.
So, I'm an enthusiastic supporter of Trump, got on the train early, like the whole America First issue. But one of the things I've come to realize and admire about what the president's doing is that it's America First, that it's not America in a vacuum, and it's not America at the expense of the world. The goal is, to bring as many people along for the ride as possible. And so, if the idea is to drain the swamp, to defeat the cabal, then you have to look at it from a worldwide standpoint. So in other words, if we kind of defeat the swamp here, but then they scatter going throughout the rest of the world, and you don't deal with the swamp in Europe, and you don't deal with the swamp in China or in Latin America or Africa, then what have you really won? And so you've got to, it has to be a worldwide movement. And one of the major issues has been untying this Gordian knot, known as the EU. So I look at, the problems in the EU, is as essential defeating the swamp as defeating the cabal here in the United States. And so, it's ultimately, if Britain can get out of the EU, which it looks like they are now for real, and it's a good deal, it's better for everybody. We can cut a great trade deal with England, which Trump has signaled, and the countries in Europe can begin to claw back their sovereignty rather than having to deal with this, the mafioso gangster tactics of this totalitarian state known as the EU. And so, as excited as can be about the possibility of
Brian,
be able to get out.
you're so precise with what you're saying. I'm nodding along to what you're saying there about Brexit, and I think Dave is as well, because, as I say, being tied to these bureaucrats, these faceless wonders, and all the time they're trying to shed out our sovereignty, etc. The people of this country, that's why 17.4 million people said, we want out. This is a shambles. But I say, you know what's going to happen, though, Brian. This is what I've been saying on the show. When we leave, this puts a big green light, and everybody say, go, go, go. We want out. We want to get off of this sinking ship, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to sink to the bottom of the sea. The EUC, brother. That's the way I look at it.
So, my feeling is that in the end, we're all brothers, and it's better for everybody that, the more people that do well, the more countries that can free themselves from this cabal, and take back their sovereignty, take back their culture, have an economy that works for its people, and the more mutual respect countries have for each other, the better it's going to be for everybody. And that's a great thing, because this is a worldwide movement, whether it's the Brexit, or America First here in the United States, or if you look at a nationalist leader like Modi in India, or what you have in Brazil. I mean, yes, you have countries, nationalism and sovereignty is back in, but it's not like you're building a fortress. It's, we're going to have good relations with other countries, but it's going to be based on respect and reciprocity, and looking at other countries and other people as equals, not as, you have the 16th century oligarchy, oligarchical structure dictating to the rest of the world how they ought to live. So, I mean, I'm really excited about the future. I really am, and I think that.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice, Brian. And we got Dave. Dave, what Brian's saying, do you feel very similar to Brian with where Brexit's concerned, bro?
Well, of course, Jeff. I've been with the show for a long time, ever since that glorious morning after after that vote. Kel Fritzy and I stayed up. Got up extremely early, and we saw Nigel Farage come out and declare victory on the vote, and it was really good. And
it was
again, the jury is still out,
wasn't it? It was touch and go.
It was definitely touch and go. But I mean, the thing is, the jury is still out on how good a Brexit this is going to be, but that it's going to happen at all is a start, and that's a good thing. And listen, Brian, before we let you go, I would like to recommend that you go back and listen to our show for the 10th of this month. And it'll give you another perspective on the whole Syria thing that you might not have considered. You stated your points very well, but please go back and listen to that one, because in order to make my points again, and for Jeff to make his points again on it, would just take too long. But hey, respect to you, and man, thank you for your call. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and thanks for having me. And it's good to have different viewpoints. And I'm just a lot of good things are happening here right now, and in the future. And Trump is going to outlast all these people. Watch, he's going to outlast Merkel. He's going to outlast Trudeau. Of course, I wish Kelly could be here so she could see what happens.
Yes.
Amen, brother.
But,
the thing I'll say before you go, Brian, it was always. I always like to listen to you and Kel batting ball. You had some really, really interesting points. I'm glad that you call into this show, because we really do appreciate your voice and you adding your thoughts to things as we see them unfold. Brian, come back and call back into the show anytime you want. We really enjoy
Always
your
welcome,
call
brother.
this evening, bro.
Thanks. I appreciate what you guys do. I really do. I mean, I'm really excited about what could possibly happen in Britain in the next couple of weeks. I'm rooting for everybody.
All right. God bless you, man.
Mate.
Take care.
God bless you, Brian. We'll speak to you again soon, yeah? Call in again very soon.
All right.
Cheers, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice stuff, Jeff.
Great
very
calls.
nice stuff. Yeah, well, yeah, very nice call from Brian. Now, you know, I'm looking at more headlines here, and some of this is very interesting. You know, so this next one I've happened to find, Jeff. This one here, this one from the Mail goes like this: This is a thugocracy. Now, listen to this, guys. Nigel Farage blasts EU chief Jean-Claude Juncker for undermining democracy, that was in quotes, by ruling out an extension, and says he would prefer a delay to Boris Johnson's deal. Now, that's interesting. And by the way, take this from Jeff, guys, because it's not a deal, it's a treaty. Okay, there's 4 bullet points here I'll read, Jeff. All right. The Brexit Party leader lashed out at the compromise hammered out by the PM. Bullet point 2. Said he would prefer extension and, quote, chance of a general election, end quote, over this deal. So he must think it's lousy. Bullet point 3. Mr. Farage pushed for Tory alliance, quote, that would win a big majority in Parliament, end quote. Don't know how much chance he would have had of that, unless he chose to lead it himself. And the final bullet point, then attacked Mr. Juncker after he suggested EU would not back further delay. Okay, so there you go. Jeff, what's your read on that, brother?
I'm not sure. Was it? Does it sound like that Farage wanted an extension, or am I overplaying that? That he wanted an extension so to go for an election, or have I overplayed my state there? My point there. It just
no.
I don't know. There's something about it's not. It doesn't feel right what Farage said.
No, it doesn't.
I don't exactly get his point. Maybe I'm a little bit naive. Sometimes it takes me a little time with these things, Dave, to find out exactly what his intentions were. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Dave?
Yeah, I get you. I get you. In reading that, while the calls were going on, in reading that one, I get the sense that Nigel Farage really wants to wet his beak, but I also get the feeling that he might think that this is an incredibly bad deal that Bobo is making, which could well be the case. Okay, we may look at we may well look at the details of this deal and go, okay, this deal sucks bones, and we don't need to be involved, or the UK, doesn't need to be involved with it at all. I have been with this show for a long time, man. I'm going weed. I'm not even a UK citizen. We might. But then again, I can't help but feel that beginning to remove the cancer from the UK is not a good thing, and especially doing it when, finally, when a government says it's going to be done. Are you listening to Theresa May? Probably not. But you know what I mean, Jeff, I think. Now, brother, I do have the details of the deal here, and if you'd like, you could call back in, because it's 21 after, and come back and I could read these details if you'd like.
Yeah, okay, Dave. I'll do that. Just want to catch my breath. I was rummaging around my breath at the moment. Yes, that gives me time to just catch my breath. And I'll call back in, Dave, and we'll go through those points. I'd like to hear your take on things, Dave. Really would, brother. Okay,
well,
so
and yours too.
Yeah, thank you, brother. So anyway, I'll see you in a minute, Dave. God willing. Mate.
Okay, man.
Cheers, mate.
Well, all right. Well, I tell you what I'll do. While you're calling back in, I'll go ahead and play our SHR Media promos here, just to get things going, and also to just remind people of the organizations that we're associated with, and we are associated with the SHR Media Network in the United States. I am especially associated with them because I am also the Unpleasant Blind Guy. You can hear this program and others because starting on Saturday at midnight Eastern, and that's 5 a.m. in the UK, you'll be hearing a traditional, more or less traditional Unpleasant Blind Guy show. And other times, on the Unpleasant Blind Guy page at Spreaker.com, you'll be listening to little 30-ish, more or less, minutes, snatches of this program. They're a little bit easier to digest. You don't have a whole 90 minutes to sit around and listen to a show. You can get it in little 30-minute bites, so that's really convenient for everybody. You'll be able to hear it there. You'll also be able to hear some of it on the Western Free Radio Network and at the SHR Media YouTube page. Now, if you happen to be listening to UBG on EDL, just remember that this program here, the English Defense League Radio Show, podcasts live on Thursdays and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. in the UK and at 3:30 p.m. in the United States. So please check us out. Come and join us at blogtalkradio.com in our chat room. You have to register with blogtalkradio.com, but then you just get in, look at the center top when you get into blogtalkradio.com and look for English Defense League Radio. And eventually, when you follow those links, you'll get to our show page. When it's live, and you can get right in and talk on the chat, which is really a great thing. Got some good people in there. Now, until that happens, I'm going to go ahead and play these promos for SHR Media. Guys, you are listening to the English Defense League Radio Show, and stick around because we're going to come back with details on this Boris Johnson Brexit deal. Here we go.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunnett. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunnett.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the
and you're now listening to Blog Talk Radio with the English Defence League radio show. I couldn't resist that. Great there.
And that is your host right there, Jeff Spider Mitchell. Yeah, Jeff Spider Mitchell is your host.
And Dave Agador Milner. Yeah, I think we'll do one of those, Dave. Might as well give it a spin, mightn't we? We might as well do that, spin our own shows. Why not, brother? Why not? But, Dave, just to let you know, if you're sitting in the studio, Dave, have you noticed the red writing on the top of the screen here? Let me read this out to our listeners. Okay, it says, the Skype integration for host is currently under maintenance. Please connect to the host line with Direct Connect or by phone. So some of our radio hosts who uses the Skype, they're going to have to use the direct, what do you call it? The direct thingy, Bob.
It's a mess, Jeff. Yeah, it's an absolute mess, man. It really is. Just the whole business here. And now, Jeff, I'm looking over this, the text of the Brexit, and they do have it in full, okay, and it is really, really long, man. We're talking about a very long, document here, and what I want to do with this, because it's just too bloody long to read, man. What I want to do with this here, guys, is I'm going to post it myself. When the show is over, I'm going to post it myself. Look for Dave Milner or Agador at MeWe, Minds, Spreely, and possibly Trumptown, but definitely UBG Contact on Twitter.
And Gab.
And I'm Agador on Gab. So I'm going to post it there, guys, because the thing is just too bloody long to read. Jeff is running a little bit short of breath. It would take us another show to read out this whole agreement, okay? But we do want you guys to have...
It's a show in itself, and if we do that, we need, like what my friend was doing, having music playing in the background, because it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on and on and on. A lot of our listeners, you're here because you want to hear the facts and the points. Well, you know what? There's a link to all what we talk about, what Dave's going to be posting around. If you want to read the thing and you've got maybe an hour or so of your own time, and you want to just sit and read it, well, that's what Dave's doing for you. So once again, Dave, as usual, thank you for posting to all of our great listeners and watchers out there. Listeners and watchers, aren't they, Dave? That's what they are.
Well, I will get that done. I will get that done, Jeff, after the show. I'm going to give it to you now so you can post it yourself, because you're also available in social media areas. So, you can have that there. It's,
there you go. Did you hear it go kerplink?
Yep, I did hear the kablink. And guys, if you want to go listening, if you want to go looking for this, this is updated on the 17th of October today. It's at the Daily Mail. The headline for it is Boris Johnson's Brexit deal in full. Read the full text of Britain's agreement with the EU here. Okay, so there is the full thing. If you want time to drill down on it and really get all the details and whatnots, we'll try and find the bullet points for you to get, so that you can make have a little bit more informed idea of what's going on with this. But yeah, it sometimes, guys, these things are just too bloody long to read, and Dave,
you're so right. Something I just wanted to maybe pick your mind over, Dave, and just wondering if because I know that the Parliament's sitting. This false Parliament, which shouldn't be there in the first place, but they're sitting Saturday, a special sitting. So what happens when Boris puts it up for the vote and a lot of them say no and the bill itself's defeated? What happens there, Dave? This is what I'm thinking, because there's a lot of them just want to cause waves and cause issues. Does it still go forward? Is the bill already, no matter what they say or try to do to prevent it? This is something I wanted to put to you, Dave. With what happens in your Senate, this, that, and the other, certain things, Dave. Your views, mate?
Well, it might not be ratified by the Parliament, but whether they ratify it or not, it's still the EU will still be severed from the UK. The UK will still be going out on the 31st. Now, I think a way that Bobo should approach it, personally, is to just tell them, look, guys, this is happening. Okay, you can say what you want. You can jump up and down and make all the noise you want and act like little 5-year-olds or whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, because it is happening. You might as well get used to it. We can argue the details later. All right, and just you might as well back it because it's happening. Even if you don't ratify the bill, it's still happening. So I don't think they really have a lot of choice. I want to
clarify for you, Dave. Now I feel more confident no matter what happens, whatever stumbling blocks is put in the way. And I just say I heard a little while ago that the 19th is going to be very significant, which I spoke about on the show, didn't I? 2 days.
Yes, you did, man.
And the 19th. And that there's still, this is still an important date, isn't it, Dave? So we shall see. It's going to come to pass no matter what. So we'll probably be discussing the finer points when we do our Sunday show, wouldn't we, bro?
Oh, yeah. And that is it for this time. Next time, part 3. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini.